Hi, my name is Trey South from the Career Advising Center. I'm the Assistant Director of Career Coaching. Today, we're going to talk about the job search process and some of the best practices in using AI to do your search. So it's really important that you're proactive in the search process, right? So having that proactive approach, that initiative to start the process early and to make sure that you're doing your best effort in your search process to know exactly what you're looking for, what's required for the position you're applying for, etc. It's also very important to stay organized, right? So once you find that job that you're applying for, and we'll talk about how to find that here in a minute, but once you find that position that you want to apply for, and once you've applied to it, be sure that you download or copy the job description itself, because once the position closes in whatever job board system it's on, quite often they pull the job off of the board. So once you get a call from the company in a month or two or whatever their outreach process is when they're ready to start interviewing, and they say, hey, I see you applied for this position. Could you tell me why you're a good fit? And you don't remember the job that you applied for because you applied for so many of them, there's a good chance that you won't have or be able to find that job description to really speak to the job during the interview process or the screening process from the company. So make sure you download a copy of the job description. That way, when they contact you, you can refer back to it and know exactly what position they're talking about, and that and you can speak to the skill sets and the requirements for that job during that process. It's also very important to start the network process early, right? So make sure you're doing that advanced search on the company. Make sure you know what kind of people are working there, what people are working in the positions that you want to get to in the future. Really reach out to them via LinkedIn or through their company website or something of that nature, and find out, hey, how can I contact them? How can I get my name known by this company a little bit? So when the interview process comes, they're like, oh, I've spoken to you before. And that familiarity, that relationship has already started building, and it's great. So you can know the ins and outs about the company ahead of time quite often, just by asking those questions and getting to know them and kind of showing that intent and longevity interest in their company. In that advanced search, like I said, again, recognizing the research in the company's webpage, looking at their mission statement, their core values, maybe some community support that they do locally or wherever they care or wherever they put their energy and efforts, what kind of clients they're serving, what products they're working on, etc., what projects they have in the works. So you can speak to your knowledge of the company to show that you're genuinely interested in working there. And then be persistent. Now, that persistent isn't aggressively persistent. It's once you've applied for the position, wait a couple days or a week and reach out to them if they have an email contact and say, hey, I just applied for this position. Just love to know if there's any information about when the interview process starts, when the job closes, or something of that nature. You can wait to do that outreach until after the job closes. If they don't hear anything back within a week or two, you can reach out to them again and say, hey, I see the job just closed. Just curious when the interview process has started, or if you've already made a decision on this position. So you can really, again, it goes well if you've already established that networking component. It goes really well because now you're speaking to the same people, and again, you're getting yourself out there, showing that genuine interest in the position that you're applying for. All right. So where can you look for those jobs? There's several different job boards out there. We recommend Handshake as an NDSU job board that we have, where you have part-time, full-time internships, co-ops, on-campus work-study positions. All those things are in Handshake. You should have an account already started once you became a student. So it automatically generates an initial profile for you. You just use your Bison login credentials to get into the system. That system is also free to use for life as an alum. So you just have to convert it to an alum account. So you still have access to all those different positions. But it's a great place because it's focused primarily for college students. So those who are reaching out looking for that entry-level position or something a little bit more advanced than that, sometimes that's a great place to start because, again, it's focusing on college students specifically, where Indeed, LinkedIn Jobs, Google Jobs, etc., they're just kind of blanketing everybody. And quite often you might find, hey, this is a great job, but it requires 5 to 7 years of experience. You don't have that experience yet necessarily. So it really can get discouraging at times. So Handshake is focused on a 0 to 1 or 1 to 3 years experience. And internships and co-ops do count. The experiential learning does count for to meet the criteria of some of those job postings. All right. There's also other places, regional job boards. The company website itself is a great place in their careers page. And then you can also look at labor market insights, which is found on our website. Basically, you can kind of put in the position or the area of work that you want to work on and find out like who's hiring for that position. So for example, who's hiring microbiology majors or biological science majors. These are some findings that were in there. So you can see that there's a lot of federal governments, a lot of aerospace, a lot of financial services. I mean, engineering firms, you're kind of like all over the place. It all depends on what area specialty you want to go into within the field. But this is a great idea to kind of maybe open your eyes to some opportunities you didn't think that, oh, I never thought. I love planes. I didn't think I could work in planes with this degree. Sure, you can. It all depends on what you're looking for specifically. But these are places to reach out to that can kind of develop that process of, oh, okay, cool. Let me find companies that work in this industry that maybe have an opportunity for me. All right. Now, when you're exploring careers in microbiology using ChatGPT, I came up with a couple of prompts that seem to work really well. The types of jobs, these are the prompts. So what types of careers can I get with a bachelor's degree in microbiology? What types of careers can I get with a master's degree in microbiology? What types of careers can I get with a bachelor's degree in biological sciences? So copying those prompts or using those prompts or similar prompts like that in, for example, ChatGPT is going to give you some pretty solid results. It's going to give you some insightful information that can really kind of help you along in that job search process. There's also ways you can use ChatGPT with your resume. So if you have a resume all developed already, here's an example. You could put a prompt in that says, what microbiology jobs am I qualified for using the below resume information? Then copy your information in there and paste it into ChatGPT. One quick note, please do not copy the header information or your contact information. Anything you load in ChatGPT is there and it stays on the internet for anybody else to use for information too. So somebody could say, hey, what are the last 5 resumes that were uploaded into ChatGPT for this, with this search criteria, whatever, and somebody could gather your information that way. So it's a free service. So unless you're in the paid subscriber component, I would highly encourage you not to copy your contact information, your name or your email, phone number, etc. Just the key information in there and you'll come up with some solid results. So here's an example of what that might look like if you were to copy your resume once you post it in ChatGPT. And I'm going to actually pull up ChatGPT here and show you what that would look like once this information is posted. If I can get it to pop open, there we go. So I'm in ChatGPT. This is the information I just from that screen I just posted and said, here's my prompts. What microbiology jobs am I qualified for using the below resume information? And there's the resume information. Now notice, this is just a basic search here. Jobs you're qualified for entry-level microbiology, lab assistant, microbiology quality control, and it gives you ideas like you're qualified based off these information, common industries that are associated with this position. So it's some really good information that you might not know how to find ahead of time. This information, ChatGPT kind of like consolidates this information. So here's some tips to boost your resume, right? Take an online course of certification, microbiology lab technician, mention microbiology coursework in your resume if you don't have that in there already, etc. And then it gives you next steps. Like here's different things, jobs you can search for in LinkedIn or Indeed or Handshake or whatever. Gives you some information where you can search for it right there too. So it's going to walk you through the process if done correctly. But just know that sometimes the information given it just collects information from the entire web. So if anybody's loaded false information in there, obviously you take that with a grain of salt, that sometimes the information is 100% accurate. So just making sure that you're putting your thinking cap on and your evaluation cap on to make sure what you're looking at looks sound to you. Okay, so identifying job parameters, use a chat. Find the job that you're interested in, copy this description, and paste that into ChatGPT using a prompt similar to this one. Identify the key skills and qualifications needed for this job, and then paste it, kind of like the prompt you just had for the resume. Are you a good match for that? Using this prompt, compare the job skills and qualifications from this job, again, paste the job description, to my resume. And then you paste your resume in there, again, negating the contact information. And it should give you, it'll show you a nice comparison saying, here's the key skills that the job's looking for. Here's the skills that you have, recommendations to improve. Identify these skills that are listed that are not on your resume. So it's going to walk you through best practices on how to do that. Okay. You can also, in the job search process, let's say you're looking for an internship, for example, you're like, I want to gain some experience because it says maybe you need more experience, or the jobs you're finding for, I just don't have that experience yet. You're just looking for an internship, not a full-time job yet, for example. It's okay. Again, with this networking process we talked about earlier, doing that advanced research on the job or the company's webpage, find those companies you're interested in. If they don't have any open positions, it's okay to still reach out to them. Still reach out there and grab a hold of them, make some connections there and say, introduce yourself. Here's who I am. You write a letter of interest instead of a cover letter, basically. Introduce yourself, what major you're in, talk about some of the experiences you're looking for. Like, I'm super interested in your line of work. I see that your company does this. I love that piece of it too. Here's where I am at currently. I'd love to take some time and talk to you or somebody else in your company to give me some tips on how to advance myself into this field, right? So you kind of start a relationship there, start a networking components. Then ideally, they reach out to you and you start a communication process with them, and they start giving you tips, suggestions, a little bit of mentorship per se, and they provide that information to help you grow yourself and prepare yourself in that process. Quite often, that kind of outreach can say, you know what, I don't have anything posted yet. However, from everything we've talked about so far, I think you're a great fit for our company. Here's a summer internship or something of that nature. So they can often create an internship to give you that experience. Like, yeah, I need that experience. How can I gain that? I'd love, do you have any internships posted? You know what I mean? So in this communication, you're talking with them in this networking process. You're kind of developing that rapport with them, letting them get to know you a little bit. Quite often they'll ask for your resume. Hey, send me your copy of your resume. I'll take a look at it, and they'll give you tips and suggestions on how to improve that. Quite often, internship is a way to do. It's like, you know, do you have any internships available? I'd love to work for you. Let me talk to my boss, right? So that happens quite a bit. You can actually create your own internship by starting that networking and that outreach process. But be clear, be patient. It takes them time. They're busy people. Quite often, like for example, if you're using an outreach view at LinkedIn, that you don't necessarily want to wait, or you look at their profile and say, look, they're not really active on LinkedIn. Maybe they're not the best person. Find somebody who's active on LinkedIn, because that means they're checking their profile frequently or they're checking their messages. So those are the people I'd reach out to. Now, often they may not be the right person, but you can ask them, do you have somebody else who I can connect with to kind of get these questions answered? They're happy to hand off sometimes. Like, yep, that's right. That's not me. But Jimmy over here, he's the person you want to talk to. And they'll give you Jimmy's contact information or whatever, and you can start the communication process that way. But it can take a week or two. It takes some time. So this is the long game. You're playing the long game now, right? Again, like I said in the beginning, be proactive. Start the process early, because sometimes it takes a little bit of time to get the gears rolling and get the ball rolling to really make that happen. All right. So that's the job search process in a nutshell. Using ChatGPT or an AI system to kind of like help you identify those key skills, the qualifications and requirements, what kind of positions are out there that are open to you that you could possibly get into, and some of that networking outreach to really find out how you can connect with people, connect with companies, and really get them to know you a little bit better prior to here's a job, here's it posted. I need to get to know you now. It's kind of behind the power curve a little bit. So that proactive approach really gets you going. It sets you up for success. All right. I'd love to answer any questions you have. And if you have those questions, you can reach out to us this way. So here's the contact information for our office, Sirius Hall. 306 is where we're located. So we're on the third floor. Our email address our website, I should say, is career-advising.ndsu.edu. Our email address, which is not on here, is ndsu.cac@ndsu.edu. That's our email address. Or you can just reach out to me directly. I'm happy to help you and assist you through the process. My information, my email's right there, my phone number's right there. Please feel free to reach out. Our contact information is here. We're here to help you, not just as a student, but our services are free to you for life as an alum as well. So just make sure that you contact with us. Start early, come often. We'll set you up for success in your career journey. Thanks so much for your time. Really appreciate it. Take care.